headquarters of, Lewes House, one of the buildings that used to be the headquarters of the Lewes Town Council. Now, this was built just after the monasteries were all closed, and most of the stone that comes from building it was actually stolen from the Lewes Priory, St Pancras Priory. So when you look at these stones here, these are cast stones, C-A-A-N, they come from North, C-A-N? C-A-N-E, oh, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, in Normandy. And this comes from there, this cast stone, it's this lovely sort of goldy coloured stone. There's some of it that you'll see stuck in some local churches. There's a bit stuck in Seaford Church, and I think even in New Haven Church. And that was probably just lumps of stone that was used for ballast for the ships when they came over. And then when they went back again, they just sort of dumped the ballast out. Now, the marvellous thing about Lewes House here, it was owned from the 1895 by a man called Warren. And I think you'll find that he would be described today as gay. But in the old days, he was shown as having a bohemian lifestyle. And he was a great art collector. And he came down here and he lived here with several gentlemen friends. There used to be some strange goings on here. For instance, they had one wardrobe and they used to share all their clothes and shoes, which seems a bit odd to me that you're wearing other people's shoes, but there you are. The places like the Tate Gallery were complaining in the 1890s that whenever any new work of art came up, he was snaffling it up and he was buying it. Now, he was friends with Rodin, and what happened is that Rodin came over here to stay with him, and he commissioned the Kiss, and you know that wonderful sculpture that's now in the Tate Gallery. In fact, saying that, the last time I saw it was in Margate, but the Tate Gallery, and he said he wanted three things. He wanted, first of all, it to be the best Italian marble. He wanted the genitals of both man and woman to be shown, and he also wanted it ready in 18 months. It took several years to finish, and the genitals were nicely hidden away, but it was the best Italian marble. And it was brought here, and it was put in his shed at the back garden, his stables, which he called Thebes, which is a place in Egypt. And he allowed people to come in and have a look at his artwork. In 1914, he decided he was going to be so good, he was going to give that sculpture to the people of Lewes. And it was taken across the road, and it was put inside the town hall. Now, unfortunately, 1914 was when the Great War started, and lots of soldiers were going there. And what they did in the end is they just covered it over with a big sort of a big rug, so that it wouldn't inflame the passions of the soldiers that were going to come in to have a look at it. And then one day there was a boxing match, and people were climbing all over it. He found people climbing all over it to get a good view of the boxing match. And in the end, Lewes Council decided they were going to give it back to Edward Warren. And it was brought back across the road and given back to him. The people of Lewes turned down a priceless sculpture. The lady that complained was a lady called Miss Fowler Tutt. And I've actually got a picture of Miss Fowler Tutt. There's Miss Fowler Tutt. Hold on, once you've got the picture, let everybody else see it.
That's very good.
This is Miss Fowler Tutt here, and she was the one that complained about this inflaming the passions of all the soldiers. When he died in the 1920s, the whole house and the contents were put up for sale. Amazingly, the Kiss did not sell. It was given to loan to Cheltenham Art Gallery, and then when they decided they didn't want it, it was put up for auction. It was bought by the Tate, and now it's a priceless piece of art. Now, Mrs. Fowler Tutt is an interesting character. She was a school teacher down at Malling, and when later on they put up the War Memorial in the centre of the town, she complained about the nipples of the angels on the War Memorial, and they had to send up a council worker to sand off the nipples of the... Which is, talk about inflaming gentlemen. I mean, you're given that job, you're going to go up and sand down the nipples of an angel, but that was the job that she had. Now, when you look across the way here, we've got another building that's covered in mathematical tiles. Actually, the bit you see immediately in front of us is an extension to the building. Down at the middle, there appears to be these blocks, these stone blocks. But in fact, what they are is they're just made of wood, to fool you into thinking that that's a nice piece of stone, a nice piece of architecture. What we'll do is we'll carefully cross over the road, and we'll have a closer look at those mathematical tiles, and also I'll tell you a little bit about the Martyrs Memorial up on the hill, at Morning Hill.